Hello there and welcome to VGC. My name is Chris Scullion and this is our Let's Play of Front Mission First Remake on the Nintendo Switch. Just a quick disclaimer, this is a sponsored post by Forever Entertainment, designed to show you the start of the game and how it plays. Okay, so let's get cracking. Front Mission is a remake of the SNES and PlayStation game that was only released in Japan. And this Switch version comes with two different viewing styles, I suppose you could call it. Play styles as well, so you've got a modern one and a classic one. So start with classic first, and then I'll show you a bit of modern later. There's two separate campaigns for each side of the war, the Second Huffman Conflict War. OCU is the one you should kind of start with first, that's the easier one. And we'll stick with Royd because that is his canon name. You can obviously change it if you like. I'll go with Royd again. Now this is originally released on the Super Famicom in Japan in '95, which is the Japanese SNES, and was never given an English language kind of release. And that was Front Mission, that was the first game. It was then kind of remastered a bit and released on the PlayStation in 2003, so like 8 years later, but again only in Japan, so again it was only never released in the West with an English language version. The only time the West ever got it was on the DS in 2007, but that was only in Japan and North America, so again Europe have never had the first Front Mission game up until this point. So in that sense, this is the very first time that Front Mission has been available officially in Europe in an English language version. But yeah, so this is your classic mode. So obviously it still looks a lot better than it would have on the Super Famicom or the PlayStation, but it's still very much an old school design. So it's a locked isometric camera. So Karen here is up on her own, investigating what's going on. This is supposed to be an empty facility. There's supposed to be a ceasefire on at the moment, at this point. See, they're suspicious, and Royd knows something's going on. No. And as expected, shenanigans are afoot. Enemy Wanzers. I'm assuming Wanzer is a kind of. I'm assuming that the terminology comes from a walking panzer, as in a panzer being a tank. So I'm guessing that Wanzer means a walking panzer, and nothing more, nothing dodgier than that. But here we go. So it's just standard kind of tactical, turn-based tactical game. RPG, and yeah, each character has their own giant mech type thing, or Wanzer if you will, and the general aim, at least at this early stage, is to destroy all the enemies in the stage, as simple as that. Now this first kind of stage as such is designed to not let you get to Karen in time. Karen is sadly going to peg it. So she's getting absolutely demolished quite early on by Driscoll. And you can briefly see there the separate health bars for the body, each arm and legs. A Wanzer has different parts to it which can be taken out. So it's not like a lot of tactical RPGs where characters, each individual unit has their own single health bar. They've got separate bars for the body, legs and arms, and the body is the main kind of heart of the machine. So if you take the body out, it's blown up no matter what. But if you can take out the legs first, it obviously affects its movement, and if you take out either arm, it affects its weaponry, because a Wanzer can have weapons attached to either arm and its shoulders. So if you take its arms out... Oh, Karen. We barely knew ye. Karen's dead. Karen! Yeah, if you take the arms out, then you kind of reduce the amount of weaponry a Wanzer can fire. So if you're taking on one with a lot of body health, then it might actually be wiser to take their weapons out first, focus on the arms, and maybe even focus on the legs so you can get some distance and take them out, because if you're in for a long battle you want to kind of reduce their abilities as much as possible. Now, one thing you might notice is that in this classic mode, because you're dealing with giant mechs, they're all moving at the speed you would expect from a mech, and this is accurate. This is faithful to the previous versions, to the SNES, also should I say the Super Famicom version and the PlayStation version. They also ran at this speed, but you'll see when I switch to modern mode, modern mode has got a lot of enhancements and improvements, kind of quality of life things, and game speed is one of them. So if you're sitting watching this thinking this looks like it moves quite slowly, it did. You know, I mean, that's just realistic in terms of the original game, and fans of the original maybe want this, but as you'll see when this battle ends and we'll go to the next battle, it doesn't have to. The game doesn't have to be like this. If you want it quicker, it can absolutely be done. Take that, attacker. Get him round here. Sometimes they're not amazingly accurate, but having said that, we're at a fairly obviously early level in this game as well, and stuff like accuracy and power levels up as your character levels up. It's similar to other tactical RPGs like Fire Emblem and the likes. Each unit can level up and have their stats increased as a result. I'm nearly done, just finish these guys off. And I'll show you a bit of the second stage where you can see how the modern mode changes. One thing you'll also notice in the classic mode is that the camera is totally fixed. Again, that's accurate to the way the game was back in the day. Like, it was a fixed isometric sprite based. Obviously it's polygonal this time, but back then it was sprite based, and because of that the camera couldn't move. So this was the kind of viewpoint that the original game was played with. But again, as you'll soon see when we switch to modern, the camera then becomes movable. So this probably isn't the version that most people will use, most modern players will use, but for the generation of players, especially in Japan, who grew up with the Front Mission series and who know it in this form, this may be the way they prefer to play it, because for nostalgia purposes, this is what they remember better. So it may not. I mean, I prefer to play using the modern style, but it's nice to have this here. I'm sure if I had more of a more nostalgia, more of an affiliation with the game from back in the day, then this would be the mode that I would be more likely to use, just because it's more of a kind of trip down memory lane. But in a second I'll show you the modern mode, which should hopefully make it clearer that you can play it a lot faster than what you're seeing just now. Okay, so let's take this guy out and then we're done, because this other, the dark one up at the top, kind of runs away, as the best cowards in the intros of RPGs always do. They give you a kick in and then run off, only so you can catch them later on in the game. There we go. So this missile here, one of his arms is gone already, so I've kind of removed one of his weapons, but now we're trying to take the body out, because it's the body we need to kill. Oh, now his legs are gone, so he can't move except there. Get around here. So we've taken an arm out, we've taken his legs out. It's very much turned into the Black Knight scene from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and there we go, the body's finally gone, and that blows him up. And that is the end of the mission because this guy legs it. Bosh. Carnage. Now essentially, yeah, what happens here is everyone was... That incident was quickly kind of buried. And the only people who knew it happened are the people who were there. I'll skip this. I don't want to spoil the story too much. I just want to show you some of the gameplay, and you can check the story out for yourself when you play it. I don't want to kind of give too much away or be one of those YouTubers who puts on funny accents and talks through it. But yeah, it basically says that the guys who were involved there go missing, essentially. And this is now a year later. Again, I don't want to spoil too much, so I'll shimmy bits of this and you can check it yourself later. So a year later, Royd is now a arena fighter in his Wanzer, trying to live a new life when this mysterious man in shades turns up. So I'll take this guy out in record speed because he's not very good. Whereas Royd was a former soldier, and this guy is a current nothing. Just keep using the same move. Give him a wee punch. One arm gone. Oh, he's getting the job done actually after me being arrogant. Let me heal a bit. Oh, I can't. He's missed. There we go, that's more like it. See you later, pal. So Man in Shades comes, basically says the army's now hiring mercenaries to get the job done because they're not doing too well. And so they want to bring back Royd because he knows what happened back in the day, and see, he knows what's happened. So he wants him back. Where do I sign? So I can get, it gives me some money to buy some upgrades. So this is your kind of your various hub areas in between missions where you can go in the shop and buy stuff from this suspicious looking Wanzer dealer. Actually I'll do that really quickly. I'll go into the shop. I'll do setup because setup lets you add stuff while buying it. I'm going to turn it green because why not? And I'm going to add extra weapons because it doesn't have anything in its right hand just now. So I'm going to give it this one here. And it doesn't have anything in its left shoulder either. And I've got no shoulder weapon, so that's okay. That'll do like that. We'll come out here. And now I'll go into the settings and we'll switch to the modern control style. There you go. Make sure that's saved. Yep. So now we'll continue on. Yep. So this is the first kind of main mission. That first mission was just a kind of... There is a tutorial at the start, which I skipped through just not so as not to kind of waste anyone's time watching this video, but that's a really brief one. And then that first mission you just saw there was the kind of the real kind of tutorial type thing. So here you meet some of your other kind of crew. And then you meet some more when you get on the battlefield. You're kind of just dropped in. So you've got Ryuji and Natalie who are now part of my team. And we're going to drop in on this particular area. And now you'll get to see the difference between the classic mode, which is playing, and now the modern mode, where all the kind of quality of life features have been added to make the game feel a bit more modern for players who don't necessarily have a nostalgia for the Front Mission series, especially in the West where most people didn't get to play it. That lovely water effect there. Here's two of my other team members, JJ and Keith. And we're just about to drop in and help them out because they're about to get killed. Evening, lads. Right, let's get going. So there's three guys up here. These three guys up here. There's three across the water, and there's one down here. Now, in the modern modes like this, you can now look down. You can turn the entire camera around to see what's going on. So it's not just flat isometric anymore. It's proper. You get full control over the camera basically, which makes it easier for kind of some areas where you've got buildings where you can hide behind and stuff like that. And also, when you move now, it moves a lot quicker. Oh, there's another guy down at the end as well. Now I want to attack him. I can't, so I'm going to hide over here. Oh, it's on him on. That'll be why. And this is the enemy. What an idiot. That's the enemy. Oh, that's why I couldn't attack him, because he was one of mine. So I'm going to come over here and attack these guys. That was a good shot. Now, when an enemy attacks you, or when you attack an enemy, you can either, if you're right next to them, like this, he's about to attack me, but I get a choice. I get to choose a weapon to retaliate with. If they attack you from a distance, you don't get to retaliate. You only get to retaliate if you're right next to them. So I'll go for Zeke. See, so I actually came out well in that one, even though he attacked me. And again, I'll reply with that Pabot punch. Bosh. Right in the bread basket. And again. Missed. Also, this is early on in the game, so at this stage, the combat is fairly basic. As you progress through the game, you have to take a lot of extra stuff into account. Obviously, terrain matters a lot. Different types of wheels and tracks work differently on terrain. So you can see when I go over a different type of terrain, up in the top left, you can see in the woods there, normal legs can go through. Okay, like hover wheels, wheels and tires and treads go over it okay as well. So woods are not bad. Stuff like sand might be trickier for treads, for example. So depending on on the terrain, your movement may vary. So there's all stuff you got to take in mind, bear in mind later on in the game, when it gets more complicated and the maps get more complex. Oh, I've shot his gun off. But this should give you a good idea to what to expect with the modern mode. Like I said before, I would imagine most people will play using the modern mode because, again, if you don't have any memories of the original front mission, and I'd imagine most won't in the West, this is the better way to play it, in my opinion, because it's the more... it just feels better in 2022. To play a game with these kind of extra quality of life additions like the fast movement and the camera rotation and stuff like that. Again, it's great that the standard, the original kind of camera, the classic cam, is there for those who want it, because so you won't get people going, this isn't my front mission, this isn't the front mission I remember. So, yeah, it's here. It's just that for everyone else there's now this kind of nice fancy new version as well to make it even more kind of appealing to play through nowadays. And that's about it. That's the game. That's Front Mission First Remake. It's out on the 30th of November, so unless you watch this video, well, probably by the time you watch this video it will be out already, and it's available on the Nintendo Switch. Again, you don't need to have knowledge of the series to enjoy it. As you can see here, this was the first game in the series anyway, just given a new kind of coat of paint, so no prior knowledge is needed of Front Mission. This is your introduction to the series essentially, and if you like tactical RPGs like Fire Emblem and the like, but you also like bloody big robots, Wanzers, then it very much may well be the game for you on the old Nintendo Switch. But yeah, hopefully this gives you some insight into what to expect. I would like to kill one more Wanzer before I stop, because I like to at least give the impression that this war was going my way. There you go, boom. Boomtown rats. And there we have it. So thank you very much for watching. Oh, his arm's away. And yeah, this has been Front Mission First Remake on the Nintendo Switch. Thanks for watching. Please do follow VGC on YouTube and all the other shenanigans you're supposed to do in this day and age. Cheers guys, thanks, bye bye.